Okay, so we just picked up the van a few hours ago, and we are officially at the lake, set up for the
Can't see
next
it,
two.
it's over there.
Yeah, the lake's that direction. Set up for the next 2 nights here. So we thought we would give just our first impressions of actually being inside of a converted ProMaster camper van.
Hmm.
So, what's your first impressions?
It's not as spacious as the videos make it look, which we kind of expected. We knew that most people shoot on a wider angles because they need to see what you're talking about. But it's not so cramped that you feel enclosed or claustrophobic unless you are. Hold on, there's a speedboat going by. Unless you are prone to claustrophobia, then you should be fine, and I think we would be fine. It is tight, but it's not as tight as a tent, and there's more opportunity to do things in the van in more types of weather and more places, which is kind of what we were thinking anyway. Um, Outfitting it wasn't. I mean, it's our first time, so we had to kind of go back and forth, and oh, we forgot this, and oh, we might need that. Whereas when we're tent camp, it's like a machine. We know exactly what bucket to grab and things to get and exactly what we need. This is a little different, but in the end, we ended up packing less than we would to camp in a tent at a campsite. So that's beneficial. And some of the stuff, if it was our van, we would just leave in the van. We wouldn't even have to bring it in and out. So I think the loadout and the pack in would be much easier and more efficient. What if it was our van? But being that we had to put stuff in here because it's somebody else's van, that's just something you deal with. What was your first impression?
Um, I think I agree with what you said. It's a little, when you step up into it, it's a small space. They don't have it. They have it ranged. Of course, there's not that many layouts you can do in a van, but it's not laid out exactly like we would. But things that are like we would have it is the fixed bed in the back, which we'll do another video walkthrough of it maybe tomorrow. But so we it was nice to see if he could lay in the bed, if both of us could fit together on that bed. We also measured the bed.
And let me say, I can fit on the bed. I am 72 inches. So I'm exactly 6 feet. And when I lay flat out on the bed, if I relax my feet, the toes touch the bump out. They have two bump outs, foot and head. My head is not touching. I've got about that much space between my head and the bump out wall, with my toes just barely touching the other end. The good thing is I don't sleep on my back flat straight out like that. I usually sleep on my side, slightly curled up. So that bed is plenty big for us.
Mm-hmm. But I like that we were able to do some measurements. We measured the countertop too, how long their counter was, how tall it was, if we liked that height, if we liked the length, about how many cabinets they have overhead, where we might want those, because we're also thinking about windows, how many windows and how do they open and how's the ventilation. This is we are in March in Central Texas, and it's supposed to get to 90 tomorrow. It's 80,
786 today.
yeah, mid 80s right now. It's comfortable. So I think we may be able to get a chance to test the air conditioning as well. It does have solar and it does have lithium, and she said there should be no problem for a weekend in her van. And it has a refrigerator. We'll show the, but we plugged it in. We have shore power, so they provided a cord, and we just plugged into shore power, so we don't have to worry about it. Overall, I think I'm not shocked or disappointed or anything like that. I'm looking forward to trying to get a van that's outfitted the way we want it laid out. I think that will make it just perfect. So we'll give a tour. One thing Dale did notice is that it drives well. It's a comfortable ride. The two seats up front are comfortable seats. This is a 2017, so it's an older van, but it's very comfortable and it drives well. He had to do a U-turn. It was a great turning radius.
Very tight turning radius. It's
Mm-hmm.
the same turning radius as our Subaru Outback. The Outback might actually have less of a turn radius. I don't know,
Mm-hmm.
but it was no issue. There was no issue turning around in it.
Yeah, or getting in and out of the grocery
Hmm.
store parking. it's shorter than a lot of Texas pickup trucks.
Yeah, that's true.
But this is a 159, the 159-inch wheelbase Ram. So that's exactly what we're wanting. So I guess we'll just give another update tomorrow and kind of do a walk around. We just finished our first night in the camper van, and we thought we would share our first impressions of the experience. And it's a little it's turned out to be this trip has turned out to be kind of a combination of van camping and a lot of our processes that we do at tent camping too. It's kind of hard to completely cut off some of the
Hmm.
stuff that we do. For example, we brought our outdoor Coleman stove. We brought some of our outdoor living stuff that if we bought a van, we probably would not necessarily bring, I guess. I don't know, all of the stuff. But so this is kind of like a hybrid experience for
Hmm.
us. We're not totally self contained in the van, we're kind of in and out of the van, which I expect that we'll be able to do that as we travel as well. So it's pretty realistic. You want to describe how we got the bug screens and such?
Yeah. As the sun started going down, of course, we've had the van open all day, and we had it that way yesterday as well. The sun started going down. We turned the lights on the inside, of course, as it's attracting bugs. So we left the back doors open for a while and put a bug screen over the sliding door opening. The screen had some holes, so some bugs did get in. Nothing dramatic though. But
I will say though
mhm,
that the of course the van comes with interior lighting along the top that's very bright, you know, recessed lighting, but they also have a dim kind of like fairy lights or whatever around the perimeter, which is all we used last night. And I think it's nice to have that soft lighting to help attract less bugs maybe, and just to make the inside of the van more compatible with the darkness outside without making us look like a bright beacon of light. Because once you turn on those overhead lights, it is very bright.
so we went to bed that way. We shut the back doors eventually because there's no bug screen. Um, Left the sliding door open with the bug screen in place. Shut the driver's and passengers' door windows, and left the small windows in the sides open. Um,
And we also put the privacy screen in the front windshield. And is that the only one we used?
on the two side windows
Mm,
as well.
yeah. But I told Dale this morning. I so on the bed I'm near the back doors. I loved those windows. I loved going to sleep at night, being able to see the water, the moonlight, and I love this morning being able to see the sunrise. I know there's going to be instances where we'll be camping, probably where we'd want the privacy, but because there's no one behind us here, we could just leave that open. And like Dale said, I think if we had a bug screen for the back, we could have left the whole back open. Probably would have got chilly. Got down in the
Probably.
50s, I think, last night, high 50s.
Yeah, I was pretty toasty though. Even
Mm,
so, eventually, in the middle of the night, after hearing a lot of animal noises and some raccoons like right outside our van,
mm-hmm.
we shut the sliding door because we didn't want a raccoon or something coming up in the van trying to find some food. So we just shut that door. Once we shut that door, it did get kind of warm inside, but we had a small fan blowing directly on us.
Mm-hmm.
So at no point in the night did I get overly hot or overly cold. We had good covers over us. If we got chilly, we would push back if we got warm. So it was actually, temperature wise, it was a very comfortable night sleeping. The bed was comfortable, a little on the firm side for my taste. It's a 4-inch foam mattress with a 2-inch foam topper. The topper is pretty soft, the mattress is pretty firm. I probably would dial down the firmness of the mattress itself a little bit, but still like the topper. Gives you a little bit of extra cushion on top.
We also measured that bed.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to take a tour of the van. When you look at the bed, it is a little bit shorter than a full size. It's basically a full size bed in width, but a little shorter than a full size. I think a full size is 75 inches long.
Yeah.
This one is 72.5 inches long. So that's just to give you an idea of the size of the bed. And we have a king bed at home, but we don't mind sleeping close. And we didn't have to sleep close, and we still had plenty of room.
Yeah, we didn't really run into each other
Mm-mm.
sleeping last night or anything. I didn't have any issues with the length. I was only on my stomach or on my back, fully stretched out 2 or 3 times, and I didn't have an issue. My head wasn't pushed up against the wall or anything.
And I would say when Dale mentioned that we had a fan, the fan is just a self-contained fan that was underneath the cabinet that the host told us about, and then we plug it into the outlet. I definitely want fans, not definitely the a roof fan. This one does not have a roof fan. It did, but they replaced it with air conditioner. I would like to see us have an air conditioner and a
Right.
fan, but it is also nice to have a fan blowing on you because I mean you're in a vehicle and the air is if your doors are closed, the air is going to get really still. And for me, I don't like I don't like that. I like some air movement.
And it helps just circulate the moisture
Hmm.
inside the van too.
That's true. And it adds a little bit of a hum of noise.
Right, which was helpful.
Yeah, which I
Still
like.
heard the raccoons, but the fan was helpful.
Yeah.
And then waking up was pretty normal.
Hmm.
Kim got to wake up seeing the sun come up over the water, or at least the water was being lit by the sun to the side. That was very nice.
And so this rig does not have a bathroom at all, not
Mm,
even a toilet. So you have to stay in places where you can either boondock and dig a hole or a bathroom. And since we're in a park with water, electricity, and bathrooms, we use the bathrooms. And Dale had to go once during the night,
mm,
and then I didn't have to go till early this morning. And of course, I would have to crawl over Dale to get out to go. So that's the thing, if you're in a bed like that, whoever's against the doors has to go crawl over their partner. Now, a lot of people prefer not an east-west bed, but a north-south. But in a ProMaster van, the ideal situation because the ProMaster is wider than your Ford Transits and your Mercedes Sprinters, to go that way so that you leave more living space. Because the longer your bed protrudes into your kitchen area, the less kitchen area you have. So we want it to be crossways in the van. That's how we want it. But I mean, you have to deal with the length and crawling over your partner in the middle of the night. And we showered in the showers before bed. And but it's really nice though to be able to change in there, keep all your clothes in
mm-hmm.
there. Because when we tent camp, which we're big tent campers, our tents are so small. We have the little REI 2-man tents. You can't change in there very easily. So this was a nice change for us to be able to get in there
Yeah.
and just basically just go to the bathroom, do the showers and stuff.
After we had set out, watched the sun come up, had some coffee over the lake. Um, Kim got an alert on her phone about a Chick-fil-A breakfast biscuit, and so we used it as an opportunity, which we were going to do anyway, to see how long does it take for us to shut the van up and be on the road.
So,
Because when you tent camp, you've got to pack and fold and clean and do all this stuff. And we didn't put everything back in the van, but we secured everything that was loose, put everything down below that was going to tip over, and we were on the road to Chick-fil-A with less than 5 minutes.
we thought we secured everything.
Well, the drawers were unlatched.
Once we hit the road and he turned the corner, 3 drawers,
The doors were unlatched.
yeah, rolled open.
And I forgot to take the privacy screen off the sliding door
Mm.
window. So anyway, when we got another reason to bring that up is because another cool thing about this is when we got to Chick-fil-A, we parked and got our food to go and ate it sitting in the van with the doors open, the sliding door open, and we were in pants and long sleeve shirts because it was chilly this morning. So there in the Chick-fil-A parking lot, we wanted to put our shorts on and change our shirts. So all we did was just shut the sliding door. We were able to change right there in the van, which you can't do when you're tent camping. You have
Yeah.
to change in your car, which is kind of difficult. So that was just nice to have a vehicle with the room to just pop in the back and change clothes, sit there and eat a meal or whatever.
Before we take you on a tour of the inside of this and outside, of this van that we've rented. I'll tell you kind of overall what the how it's been outfitted. So it's a 159-inch wheelbase Ram ProMaster van, 2017,
Extended height.
extended roof. It has solar. I think 400 watts of solar on the roof. It has an air conditioner. No other fan in the roof. The air conditioner. It has a 30-gallon,
She said 60
60
gallon.
gallon tank in the back on by the right wheel well. We'll show you where that's located. And that helps with that feeds the outdoor shower that's right back here, and the sink. Underneath the sink is a how many gallon?
Um,
It's like a 10-gallon gray water,
Something like that.
and you have to periodically um, empty that the gray water. It has a full size bed, a little bit shorter than full size. It has a refrigerator that's, you'll see it's underneath a bench, which we'll give you our thoughts on that. It has one seat, the passenger seat swivels around. Um, what are some other?
It's got 2 lithium batteries.
Hmm.
It's solar charge. It's DC charge when you're driving. Apparently, according to the lady who owns it, it will charge from solar and DC charge back from your engine while you drive. Of course, we can't test that at any point. But she did say she's camped with no power for a few days and had no issues just based on the solar recharge.
It also has an awning. We have
Mhm.
not used the awning here because we have a really nice pavilion. But before we came, we did uh, pull it out and take a look at it because we wanted to see how it operated. You had to have a ladder, I mean a step stool to actually get it out
Mm-hmm.
and pull it out. But it was easier to get it in, wasn't it?
It was easy in and out. The only difficulty was we had to pull out around midday, and it sat in the extended position for probably a couple of hours. It's a very dark material, so when I went to collapse it, the struts and the awning material were pretty hot. They were in direct sunlight for a couple of hours, and I actually had to put a glove on one hand to press the detent pin to get it to collapse in. So, not a huge deal, just something to know before you reach up there and grab it and get branded.
Yeah, I was just thinking as well that we made a quick trip to Chick-fil-A this morning, and you said that it has a great turn radius.
Yeah, I'm shocked that the van or vehicle this size, it's a utility vehicle, can turn as tightly as a small vehicle, or at least as tightly as the vehicles we have owned. It will get into tight spaces pretty easily.
Um, and as we head over and go into the camper, I wish that this camper had a step or a running board to get into it, and also a place to just pull yourself up. I mean, I might be saying that because I'm 59 years old, but I think it would just be convenient because it does sit pretty high off the ground, and going up and down out of there without a step in between is a little. You can fix that. Why not? So, but anyway, let's go take a look at it. So this is the inside of the van that we've rented. See from the angle that the camera's at right now what the basic layout is. And we've noticed with all of our video watching and research about layouts that this is pretty common. The kitchen is usually here or here. I mean, there's not many other places it can go. I think that we're probably wanting the kitchen here. But the cool thing, I guess, is kind of cool, is this has a 3 burner stove and a full oven. We do not want a stove or oven at all in our camper. We're just going to sit up there because that's one thing. This whole counter area, which is our only counter area, almost half of it is taken up by this, which is not very convenient. And we don't even use it that often. We'll probably be want to cook outside and such. So we're thinking that we don't want this. But here's drawers, storage drawers with things. Lock it here. I don't particularly care for the locking mechanism on the drawer either. It's a little bit like
Hard. It's hard to
it
use.
is. It is. And but we forgot to lock it when we went to Chick-fil-A this morning, and the drawers came open as soon as we turned the first corner. This thing that Dale is sitting on is a, a bench, right? But underneath it is the. We'll show you. It's the refrigerator. Very inconvenient. You got to move the cushion, lift the lid, then open the lid of the cooler. That's a no go. I mean,
Yeah. Even the lady who owns it says it irritates her and she doesn't like it. But they just haven't changed it.
yeah, I think they just rent it, so they really don't
Hmm.
care.
Yeah.
Um,
You can see from down there. It's. You can see as well. The height is fine. You lose probably a couple of inches on the top because of the insulation and then the roofing material. And I've got I don't know inch and a half with a hat on. And my son, who's probably a couple inches taller than me, stood in here yesterday with no hat on, and he didn't hit at all. So there's if you're 6 foot
two.
3 and below, no issue. 6'3" to 4", depending on how they build out your roof, you might be fine. You might be just starting to brush the top. I don't know.
And you can see the sink, storage. There's some lights under here that don't work. They're just battery operated. They don't work. Here's the electrical. But I think I'll grab the camera and bring it inside so you can see a little bit.
I'm going to go to the cockpit with you very briefly. Two-seat, as we said, the passenger seat on this one swivels. You can get the swivel seat on the driver's side as well. In this case, they didn't because the countertop comes all the way to the back, so there'd really be no use in swiveling this around. We've seen a lot of configurations over this side stops here or maybe here, and they will swivel this around with a lagoon table that folds out or a pop-up table where the driver's seat can function as a desk seat as well with a table or some sort of tabletop in front of you. This is a pretty standard screen. This is a 2017 van, so this is not a multimedia kind of, I can watch a map on this screen as far as I can tell. It's pretty basic function. I would upgrade that if it was me. You've got, this is standard here. It's sort of a map storage kind of a thing. I think this area here for storage is optional when you build the van or you order the van. If it's not here, I think this is just solid to the roof. I could be wrong on that, but when we configured a van like this on the Ram site, one of these was optional. You had to add it. I think it was this one up here. So you can add that as an option. The pedestal that the seats sit on is how it's built. This extra piece here was added on by the owner. It's 3 small storage compartments and gives you a little bit of an extra step out when you're exiting the cockpit or the cab area. Other than that, it's pretty standard as a vehicle. It drives well. It's got everything you could probably want. I would just upgrade a few things. But of course, it's 2017, so it's 8 years old. There's a lot of things have just been upgraded on their own. Talking about the windows in this particular van, there's 2 windows, one on this side, one on the sliding door. These are not standard. When you get a van, these do not come with it. This owner has added aftermarket windows that open. If you select an option to get a window from Ram when you get the van, whatever windows they install, if any, are not opening windows. They are just glass for you to see out of. These aftermarkets will open. Some slide open, some tilt out open. These happen to have a twist opening, and it's only this section down here at the bottom. So both of these will open. This one apparently is defective right now and will not open. Well, so these both open. It's the same kind of opening on the sliding door as well. So this is the only piece of the window that opens.
One of the things that I do not understand about band systems is after they've been converted is how the electrical is set up. And I don't have to really understand the ins and outs. I'd like to, but I do want to know how to use it. And when the owner of this band showed us this little panel here, she explained to us what it's for, and it seemed pretty easy. I was surprised. This water tab is what you push if you want to use the sink. It turns on the water pump that allows the water to come out of the sink. If you want to use the stove, you turn this on, it turns on the propane to a tank that's in the back of the van. And you also have to make sure the tank is open as well. The propane tank, you go back there and twist that open. The lights turns on the puck lights in the ceiling. Um, this right here tells you how much charge your lithium batteries have. So we're hooked up to shore power right now, so we're not really drawing from our batteries, to my knowledge. The other thing up there, I'm not sure what that does. It may have to do with the hot water heater, because there is a hot water heater. Um, and I forget how she said to turn that. Which one of these turns that on? So maybe it's that. So see, we don't know. We're not really using the hot water heater, um, and so and the sink here is fine. I think this is a pretty good size of sink. I don't, some people get like really big farmhouse sinks or whatever. We don't need anything huge. So this was a good example for us of what size we might want. And then the bed here. So we when we first rented the van, we got in here with a measuring tape to measure everything. And like we had said previously, this is a full size, but it's width, but just a couple inches short. It's 72 and a half inches, I think. And the only reason we're able to get that much length is if you notice, they built these little insets on both the head and the foot that allow you to have a little bit more length. Um, if you if you've never seen the inside of one of these vans, if you were to remove the walls that they've put in here, it's metal. It's just the metal side of the van, and there's ribs that go along the inside that support and give shape to the van. And so you have to work around those ribs in the van to be able to do all this stuff that they do. Um, but the bed was a good size for us. We enjoyed having the windows on the back doors to be able to see out to the lake, the sunset and the sunrise. There'll be some situations where we'll have to use the privacy covers, which all the privacy covers are stored in that overhead compartment above the cockpit. And that's pretty common, I think. We've seen a lot of videos where that's where people store their things. Um, Trying to think, this garage part of the van, we had considered whether or not we wanted a fixed bed with a garage or if we wanted a dinette and a dinette that you had to make into a bed. I think, and Dale agreed with me, that we need the storage space that you get in a garage because if you don't have the storage space, everything has to fit in a drawer or I don't know. It has to fit in a drawer, or you fill up your. Now we've seen some people who get bathrooms that have showers in their vans, and it's filled with storage. Almost everyone that we've seen that has a bathroom regret it because they don't use their shower in their van. And one builder told us it makes a lot of moisture inside the van that you don't want anyway. So we're definitely not doing a shower. We plan on getting a small toilet that we use if we have to, if we're not at a place that has a bathroom or if it's the middle of the night. But that small toilet will go in a drawer or it may go under here. But I would like for our van to have this covered. I don't like seeing into the garage necessarily. Um, it is convenient. I mean, you can crawl back there and grab things, but you can also just walk around the back and open it up and grab what you want as well. I want some drawers here for clothing or whatever it is. So that's what we're kind of hoping for if we buy a van. Um, the air conditioning is above the bed, which I think is a great location because when you live in Texas, you definitely want to have some air conditioning above the bed. But we would also like to have a max air fan maybe in the kitchen area to draw air in through the windows on the doors and to exhaust any cooking that we do. Overall, we like the look of this van. We like the light colored wood and the natural wood combo. We've seen where it's all natural. We've seen where it's all a color. We've seen green. We've seen teal. We've seen all dark mahoganies. we've seen something that looks like you're stepping into a forest cabin, it's all wood. To me, that's too heavy and dark. The light white makes it roomier to me and makes it brighter. Um, and we can add color by, other ways. So, is there any other things you can think of, Dale? That
Two 110 outlets.
yes,
One there and one there.
mm-hmm. Those are the only power in here is the two 110 outlets. I think it's great to have those. Um, I know if you look at some van configurations and builders, they only give you one. They'll give you USB ports, or they'll give you 12-volt chargers or something. To me, I don't want USB. Technology changes. That may be useless. You give me the outlet, we can choose our own adapter. And but I would like to have something at the rear of the van so you can charge your phone back there. Uh, I will say that it was very convenient having these cabinets above the end of the bed, because since I'm sleeping on the far side against the door, I can put my book, my glasses, my whatever I, need in that overhead bin, and it's right there for me to reach, some water, whatever. So I really like that too.
Let me show you how this refrigerator works in this. This is a Dometic chest freezer. I don't know the size, the volume of it, but to get into it, everything I'm doing right now, you have to do. I guess you could leave these off if you knew you're going to be getting into it a lot in the next few minutes. Just put the cushion up on the bed. But here it is. It's kind of like a large cooler. You're just going to pop the handle, and then you have two separate compartments in a wire basket. And there's a little bitty shelf up here that you can put stuff that doesn't need to be as cold. The reading on this right now says 31 degrees, but nothing in here is frozen. So I'm not sure exactly how cold it is in there. Things feel cold, but we've got some meat in there, and I don't know. I get it's probably fine. It's probably fine. But anytime you have to get in there, that's what you have to do. And there is a little bit of storage space around this. There's a broom back here, and we've got a bag of food here, just some dry food, because we're not going to load up the cabinets with our food because we're only going to be in here for 2 days. This, of course, would normally stay open for you, but it's broken. So I guess normally when you pull this up, it would stay in place, but it doesn't. So you have to hold it up while you open the cooler. And then when you're done, you can reassemble everything until you need to get back in there again. And you got to do this all over again. Not convenient. This is the garage of the van. This is where you're going to get primarily all of your storage. In this configuration, when you have a pedestal bed raised up, this is your primary area of storage. You do have cabinets, of course, you've seen those, and some drawers. This is where your big stuff is going to go. We're only in it for 2 days. We don't have a ton of stuff. We've got a bag of clothes. We have another bag of small items of food, potato chips and stuff. And my guitar here and our shoes. That's basically all we have out here. There's some other stuff out there, the Coleman stove and whatnot, but everything fit in here very well. We had room left over once we packed it up. If you were going to be in here long term, say a few months on the road at a time, this would likely be pretty full of stuff. You don't want to pack this pretty well, probably in buckets or containers so stuff's not sliding around. But there's a lot of room here. What they've done is they've strapped down a step ladder here, which is what you use to get the awning off the side of the van. You just pull this out and use to set up the awning. It is not tall enough to get on top of the vehicle. I'm not sure how they do that, but you can't do that with this. You have to get a full-size ladder to get up to the top of the vehicle. So we can't do that to go look at the solar panels. This is their 60-gallon water tank. It's in this box. They've got a cutout here where you can see the side of the water tank, so you can see the level of water. Right now it's right here is where the water is. So the tank actually goes down to about here. I think it sits over the wheel well. So this tank isn't just a big rectangle. There's a curved piece of it cut out. They've got it strapped down here, and they left it cut out there so you can access the straps. Then in the end of the water tank box, I want to crush my guitar. This panel here opens because on the inside of this is both the propane tank and how you fill the water. I'm sorry, just the propane tank. I'm sorry. I'll get to the water in a second. So here's your propane. So if you want to use this, it's just a regular barbecue grill propane tank. You have to turn this on and then flip the power switch in there in order for the propane to go to the stove, and most likely the hot water heaters as well. So that's how that operates. That's the only thing that's in this box, but that's what that's for. Above it, clamp this back down. Tell it's not my equipment. I'm not exactly sure how to use everything. Well, anyway, above it are two things. This is a bamboo mat that they use to stand on when they take outdoor showers, or they're standing outdoors to rinse their legs or whatever they're doing. This is where you fill your water tank. So you just take a hose from a water connection, attach it here, open the valve, fill it with water, close the valve, detach. That's all there is to it. Under here is an outdoor shower connection. So it has a hose that connects to this wand. And this has hot and cold water. If you have the hot water running, you get both out of here. This extends out to probably about here. And this owner has used it outdoors. And what they did is they put a hook here and a hook on the other side, other door. So they string a curtain across here and they just stand here, rinse off, shower, whatever they need to do with the outdoor shower connection. They wash their dog out here, they said, and they'll use this mat to stand on while they do that so they're not standing in mud. But that's all self-contained right there. And the key just disappeared. There it is. That's all self-contained in this box. Nothing to do with it except just open it up, attach the wand, and turn the water on. That's all you got to do. There we go. Fix that in a minute. So that's the back on this side. On the other side, we've got two boxes here. This wheel well box is basically just a box for this to sit on. I asked her what was inside of here, and she said nothing. It's screwed shut. There's nothing in here. So it's really just a cover for the wheel well for this to sit on. And in here, you've got electronics. This is your converter here. Move my head. You got your converter here. You have two lithium batteries here. And in this compartment, you have all of the connectors, the distributors, and everything else goes in there. So they've just used the bottom box to support their electronics. It's my opinion that this is wasted space. If you're going to put a box here to support this, then you've got to be able to use this space somehow. You could extend this, but this is already taking up space. Pull this out. You can put some small drawers here or under here. Or could just cut a big hole out of it where you can stick things with maybe a netting that goes across. There's something you can do with that storage, or reverse this, put this on the bottom, put that on top, and just have like an open storage space, kind of like they have over here, which is what they did here. They just put an open box with some openings in the side where they can store things. They've got a garden hose here and some other things there. So that's a better use of space, in my opinion.
So here we are at the end of our
2-day
inaugural van camping trip. And I think it was totally enjoyable and productive. I think we learned a lot of good stuff. Made a lot of good notes. Showed us some new things. Confirmed some things we thought. And we had a really enjoyable time together. And we had some friends out tonight for dinner. And it was just very relaxing, and it's a wonderful time of year to be camping. So I think it was a success.
I agree. Didn't it didn't it didn't dissuade us from getting a camper van. I think it didn't. It answered some questions. It gave us some more things to think about and investigate. But I think it kind of confirmed that we could actually do this for months at a time.
And it was definitely a reality check, because when you watch videos, you honestly can't tell how big or small the area is, because you don't know what lens they're using. So it is smaller than what you see on the videos. But I kind of expected that, and I think it's totally doable. So we'll see what happens.